My name is C. My favorite color is blue. I hate my real name. And ever since a young age, I have been a voiced critic of the modern American family. You know, the ones where the dad looks too happy and the mom's doing housework. But all in all, it isn't important. No, all that mattered was the list tucked into my back pocket and how soon I could complete it. This is Tad, an indifferent boy of 13 years whose eyes I hadn't seen in years as they were always hidden behind some sort of screen. The only time Tad would look up is when a soccer game was on, and even that was only for a brief moment. This is Mother, a tightly wound woman with a larger affinity for her cleaning supplies than life itself. She was featured in Cleaning Life magazine over 15 times. Acute OCD was the diagnosis she received from the doctor weeks after my father's, as she worded it, permanent business leave. It was a seldom occasion that Mother partook in quote-unquote fun. It required too much smiling for her taste. But it was only upon one night that she claims to have never felt so alive over a conversation and her pair of disco boots. And this is where my father sat. Raised in a militaristic household under Sergeant Smith and a mother of whom he only got to see the back of, my father wanted nothing more than someone to talk to. But it wasn't until his last high school dance that my dad found his answer in a pair of disco boots. So they snuck out the back and put it away in Dad's old Camaro until they found themselves at Dad's favorite spot, making a list that would mark the adventure of the rest of their lives. Hours passed, but to them it felt like seconds. Their infatuation so instant they seemed to be under no premise of time. And as the sun set on the two, it was then that my dad knew he was no longer alone. He wanted to be with those boots until the day he died. But the one thing that we shared above all was our fish that he gave me on my 4th birthday. He was ours. It was as simple as that. This is Parton, an odd young man whose name always seemed fitting as he would say pardon moments before a collision. This is exactly what happened. Now see, what is about to happen could have easily been avoided had Parton not been submerged in his book and instead been looking at the two girls heading right in his direction. Ever since he lost his parents at a young age, Parton took shelter in other worlds. It seemed far easier to delve into the problems of characters rather than his own, or, as the average person would refer to it, denial. And the older Parton got, his focus broadened from books to movies, and suddenly he was hooked. In fact, he had always imagined himself swooning as women like they did in the old noir films he watched.
It was right then that she looked my way. And after she looked my way, she decided to walk my way. When she got close, she asked me, "What's your name?" I could sense my silence troubled her. She asked, "If you aren't going to speak, how am I going to get to know you?" Like this.
But real life doesn't play out like it does in the movies, which Parton would soon find out. But I knew from the moments before Boy Met Ground that Parton was the one I wanted to help me finish my list. Hi.
Hi.
Do you want a hand?
I mean, I'm just.
Here you go. Hey, do you want to help me with my list? It was my mom and dad's. They've done all 100 things on that list, starting on the night they met. An avant-garde bucket list, if you will. I found it when I was younger, and I've been trying to finish it ever since. To keep the memory alive, you know?
How many have you done?
Well... I still have like 20 left to go. Would you want to help me? It's totally okay if you don't want
Which
to.
one's next?
Parton and I are running away together.
That's nice, dear. Do I need to sign anything? Oh, and if you do go out, please take that hand sanitizer I gave you. You know it is flu season.
Bonjour classe. Êtes-vous prêts à répéter après moi? D'accord. Allons-y. C'est une histoire.
C'est une histoire
This is a story des deux amants.
des deux amants
Of the two qui a décidé de s'y enfuir.
qui a décidé de s'y enfuir.
Who decided to run away.
Parton and I got on the 12 o'clock bus and arrived at our destination at 1. And with the first steps off the bus, number 100 of the list received its ever-awaited check mark, leaving Parton and I with an unsettling question of, now what? Frankly, we didn't know. But we still pressed on and did what we always did. Pretty convincingly, if I may add. But then, to my dismay, I realized something. I don't know exactly when or how, but it became apparent. I had been stuck. Stuck on a list that had already been completed. Stuck on a memory that had already passed. Going in circles. We had all been stuck. But Dad knew. He knew he had to help. Or at least remind. For in the journal lay the final number of 101. To live presently. We knew what we had to do. We got on the 5 o'clock bus going home, and arrived promptly at 5:45. After searching in the attic and finding an old box labeled soccer, we carefully laid Tad's soccer ball and his jersey on the bed. And for Mom, we found her beloved disco boots, my dad's notebook, and the list laid for her to find. And then we just waited and watched. But somehow, it all clicked. Thank you, Dad.